too. That was my fastest time yet. You just got to yell Irene. Out at the range today in Phoenix, Arizona, and it is hotter than Mogadishu out here. But have something really cool. This is my 727 build. All right, say similar to a Colt 727. I'm not going to say it's clone correct for many reasons. Mainly, it doesn't have a full auto lower. But I do believe it fits that vibe, and I feel like most of you would probably agree with that sentiment. And if you're not familiar with these, I'll give you a quick rundown. It's basically an M4A1 with a fixed A2 carry handle on the upper receiver there. So the cool thing about the A2 fixed sights, they're really nice, probably arguably the best fixed sights on a battle rifle. But they, if you have the proper zero on this one has a 300 meter zero, and you can go back and forth on which the better zero. Either way, the whole point of that is it has adjustments for elevation. So as you go further out, 400, 500, 600 yards, you can go ahead and just adjust that on there, and your hits are going to be true to those adjustment markings. So that's really cool. You can take this out to about 400, 500, 600 yards, still get accurate hits on target. So that's nice there. So starting on the front here, it just has a standard A2 flash hider on here. The light is a reproduction. This is a Shekin Gears is the one that I got this from. And the actual Surefire ones have been discontinued. If you can find them, they're very expensive on the secondhand / clone market. But this one looks really good. It's a faithful reproduction. Is it as robust as the Surefire version? Probably not, but can't say for sure because I don't have enough rounds down it to see. So I guess we'll see by the end of the day if this flashlight is still turning on. And it is clamped onto the barrel just how you would see it on these 727s back in the day. If you Google 727, you're going to see a setup very similar to this. On the butt stock, I have a Car 15 stock. I don't have the rubber butt pad on here. It's just straight up. This one, I believe, is the B5 version. And the lower I'm using is, you can see it's marked Safe Semi-Auto. This is an Aero Precision M4 Carbine clone lower. You can see the little Aero logo there made to look like the Colt logo. And this rifle is SBR, so it has a 14.5 barrel. It's not pinned. So as of this video, this is an SBR. Now, some of the things I really like about this setup is it's very lightweight, it's very handy. Now, compared to an M16 with the 20-inch barrel, does have a shorter sight radius, but what it lacks in sight radius, I think it makes up for in just that weight reduction and just overall handiness. I got my sling set up on here just with some paracord on my front sight posts and back here on the stock there. And yeah, so I guess less talking and more shooting. Let's head down range and put some rounds through it. Per usual, I'm going to get things started with some bill drills, kind of warm up that trigger finger with a 7.27. Let's see how it goes. So this is going to be cold. First shots of the day. Oh, a little bit of a delay on that. That was a 1.43. Let's try it again. That was a 1.44, so pretty similar. Shot maybe a little bit not as fast on the split times there, but it felt really good. When it comes to shooting fast and up close with any of your fixed carry handle optics, there is a trick that a lot of people already know. If you don't, I'm going to talk about it. Basically, instead of aiming through the sights like you normally would, to shoot a little bit faster up close and to build in your mechanical offset, what you can do is you can put your front sight post on top of the rear sight instead of looking through it. It's not as accurate, but when you're closer up, accuracy is a little bit less important in many cases than speed. One of the things that can become more challenging with iron sights is quick target acquisition. So every time you transition to a new target, you got to realign your iron sights before you can re-engage. Again, I'm going to be using that second method there where I put that front sight post on top of the rear sight. I'm going to do some transitions here from left to right on these paper targets. So I'm at 7 yards right now. All right, so that was a 166. So 7 yards with iron sights, pretty quick. You can already tell I'm a little bit on the high side here on those three. So I just got to adjust that elevation a little bit. Other than that, pretty quick as far as transitions go, even with iron sights. And yeah, starting on a middle target. Just had the right enough rounds left. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and run the 1 through 5 drill. This really gets that trigger finger moving for a sustained amount of time. And we're gonna be integrating those target transitions as well. Starting on the left, 1 through 5. Oh yeah, that felt great. Yeah, the lightweight of this is really nice. I mean, just being able to kind of hold it up like this without straining, I do like. See, is our light still working? Yep, so far, so good. All right, do some reload drills here. All right, starting on that left target. All right, that's a 5.46. See if we can smooth out that reload just a bit. Five, 1, 2, a little bit better. And every primary needs a secondary. That's why today I brought out the Betta 92 SF or the M9, whatever you want to call it. These would typically be fielded alongside these 7.27s. I primarily shoot Glock, so it's really fun to bring the Beretta out to the range because it has this double single action, and it takes a little bit of mental acuity to shift gears to be able to utilize that effectively. So if you're not familiar with the double action, single action of the Beretta, the first round, let me kind of move back so you can really see it. As I shoot this first round, you're going to see that hammer cock and then fire. So that's the double action. Now, after that, the hammer stays to the rear, and now it's going to fire in single action, and you're going to have much less of a trigger pull. And then typically these would have a safety and a decocker. I have Beretta's decock only switch installed, so there is no safe. It decocks, and then it goes right back to fire mode. So I never have to worry about this accidentally going on safe, because if you're running it decocked, there's really no reason to run it decocked and safe, because that trigger pull's so long, it's not going to accidentally go off. Unlike the A1, the A2 has 2 different sizes for the rear diopter, so you can switch between that precision diopter. You can set a small little hole on there, and then of course your more combat size, up close, quick and dirty. They have it marked 0 to 200 for the rear, and then the small one would be further than that. This target setup downrange is at 85 yards, and with the small diopter, makes pretty easy work of it. And we're empty. Back in business. Now, the larger diopter, I should still be able to get pretty accurate hits at this distance. So no problem there, but it's nice to have options. You get further out, you switch that little fella, and especially if you have to start dialing your elevation, you definitely want to utilize that small diopter, but to each their own. It's there. It's a great tool to have when you need it. .707. And there is a third option I forgot to mention, and that is right in between the two settings. There's a flat spot, so it will sit in between the two settings. Kind of see that? And that's designed to just keep your rear irons out of the way. So if you're running a red dot on a gooseneck or something like that, and you want to be able to see through that optic a little more clearly without those irons clouding it up, you can go kind of set it to that middle position there, and you'll have better visual of your dot. I won't spend too much time talking about the 92 FS, the Betta here, because it is the GOAT. Everybody knows this pistol. It's infamous. Everyone has seen Die Hard and Lethal Weapon. But it is important to note just that double action, single action, if you're not used to using it. It's definitely fun to try out here at the range. So that first shot is always that long pull, and then you have a really nice crisp trigger pull for your follow-up shots. So one of the things I like to do is kind of, as I'm extending, I kind of bring that slack out. So you have there's a lot that trigger can move before it's going to go off, and then you're going to have that wall like you have with most pistols. All right, so kind of bring that slack out, and once my sights settle, I can go ahead and run it. All right, I got 3 rounds chambered up. Let's see how we do on this steel target here. That was a 244 from the holster. Let's try it. Let's try 6 rounds. That was a 2.99. I do believe I had 1 miss though. So there's that. But again, I don't practice with the Betta, but it's such a nice gun that you can really take it out and do a lot of good stuff with it. It's a great shooter. .317. .283. .277. Irene! 272. That was my fastest time yet. You just got to yell Irene. And some of you are going to ask, this is all something I kind of built up. The barrel is a government contract, Capco barrel 14.5 chrome line, all that good stuff. The upper receiver is by Rock River Arms. I already mentioned the arrow lower, and then kind of just a mix of other parts here. The trigger in this is just a mil-spec BCM trigger. Other than that, pretty standard setup on here. Nothing too fancy. For this light mount setup, I got this upper portion, the actual barrel clamp, from, I believe, eBay or so. So it's like a cheap Chinese barrel clamp. But what I did was I swapped out the hardware that came with it with some high quality hardware. And so far, this has been working really well. I also ran this on a similar setup, and it held up well on that also. The actual 1-inch ring for the Surefire is an actual Weaver mount, and you can pick these up fairly inexpensively on either eBay or Amazon. They are still available, and they are pretty much the same as they were back then, from what I can tell. All right, I'm set up to run an El Presidente. I'm facing uprange. On the beep, I'm going to turn, engage the targets left to right, perform a reload, and then right to left. It's going to be 2 rounds per target. 2, 2, and 2 with the El Presidente. It was an 802. My sling kind of blocked my front sight there, but no big deal. We worked through it. All right, gonna try that El Prez one more time. Uno vez más. Let's see. Let's see if we can beat that 802. I felt better. That was a 6.65. Last time I got all my hits in. It's cooking a little hotter this time. Let's see. So I do have one little high there. We're good here. And one just off right there. So I pushed myself a little bit on that one. Got a couple off, but overall I'm pretty happy with that. And one thing I wanted to mention about having the barrel mounted light is a lot of people seem to think that that's going to negatively affect your accuracy, and realistically any effect it has on accuracy is going to be negligible. The only thing I will say is if you do mount a flashlight to your barrel, you need to zero after, and then once it's zeroed, you're going to be good to go. For these setups at the front sight post, with it being mounted just in front of the front sight post, or I've seen even some modify the mount so it can fit inside of there, it's not going to have that much effect because it's so close to that front sight post there. So for the purposes of this firearm and the distances in which I'm utilizing it in, it really does not matter. So that's my overview on this 727 build and a little bit on the 92 FS that I've talked about before. Shot about just shy of 4 mags through it today. And my closing thoughts after spending some time with this setup today is it's a very capable platform. Now, I am not going to say that you don't need a red dot or any type of other optic, because you do. In this day and age, optics are only going to improve the functionality of your firearm and your ability to use it, whether that be a red dot, prism optic, LPVO, you name it. It's going to improve the setup, but at the end of the day, irons will still get the job done, and this particular setup just works really well running irons. You may see me mount an optic on this in the future if I can find something that I feel like fits the vibe. Could run at Aimpoint Comp M2 or something similar on here, or maybe even a 9000 series. That might be cool, and that might be something I look at. But for now, kind of just enjoying bringing this out and taking it back old school and shooting some iron sights with it. As far as the flashlight goes, let's see, this is the test. Flashlight still turns on. Again, this was not by any means a torture test for this Chinese copy of a Surefire here, but it is just worth noting that after a single range day, a little over 100 rounds, it is still holding up. And then as far as the barrel mount is concerned, everything's pretty tight. I did use rock set on all of the shooters here because it's mounted to the barrel. It's going to get particularly hot, so that's why I use rock set. Some are afraid to use rock set on things because they think it's a permanent thread locker, but it's really not. Rock set's no more permanent than blue Loctite. The only difference is it holds up to heat better than blue Loctite would. So that's it. That's the 727. Let me know what you think about this setup down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow on Instagram, all that good stuff. Help keep the dream alive. Thanks for watching.